Happy.
On Monday.
That's too hard to- Perfect. All right, perfect.
Don't feel like you have to take.
All right, I'd like to call to order the Finance Committee of Fallbrook Regional Health District on January 7th at our new time, 2 p.m. Hope that's working out for everybody. Right. So, do we have any public comments or announcements?
Nope.
Then,
Nothing came through
yeah,
for today.
so, is this the meeting that we're sort of changing the format?
A little bit, yes, where I was gonna take the lead to run through the reports. And then you can stop, question, whatever. I figured we'd follow the same. We talked about keeping our general process the same
Right.
until we have the new bookkeeping, AKA finance and systems person in place.
Yeah.
Once they're fully in and Judith has finished onboarding them, then we can talk about changing the report format.
Gotcha.
Something and then change horses midstream, as they say.
Yeah.
So
Do we have candidates?
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna.
You have a lot of candidates.
Oh,
Qualified.
too many.
You do have qualified candidates. Some of them.
Some
um,
compared to the
hmm.
onslaught that she got.
how many?
We had about 270.
Wow.
Yeah.
UCSD graduates, some of them hold MBAs.
So,
We have quite a few.
yeah.
Somebody can do your homework.
I know. That'd be awesome.
So will AI screen them?
Yes and no. I do have an AI reply to all of them, just to be polite.
Yeah.
So there is an AI component to them. I have them check for the AI that makes sure that they have the 2-year degree, or the 2-year AA or some sort of Miracosta Community College. So out of all that, it did weed out some of them that only had high school because we were asking for at least an associate. So any word that said associates, bachelor's, anything beyond high school, it sets them aside. I still like to look at them though, just in case something got missed. So as a whole, there was about 350 something. So there's 275 that are viable, I guess. But out of that, there's about 170 with MBAs and experience. And so it's just a function of going through and finding the right ones.
Yeah.
So, but I usually go through them, but I can usually glance and see, do you have the accounting pretty quickly? So it takes a little bit of time.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Right.
All right.
So we're gonna take our time
Yeah.
to scroll through and then Judith and I were actually just meeting and talking about what that onboarding timeline looks like. We have to renovate the room that they're sitting in because it's still got all that crazy old shelving and stuff. This is the time to update that space.
That Linda, so they.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Teresa has been working, this is more facilities, but I'll let you know, working to identify a maintenance / small construction group that we can work with that falls within the prevailing wage category.
Yeah.
That has been a hard unicorn style vendor to find. So she's had to do a lot more hand holding to get that kind of organized than we would normally want to do with vendors. But once they've given us a quote that seems reasonable. So once we sign that contract with them, then we'll try and get them in. We're looking at a 4, 6, maybe 8-week turnaround before that person's really onboarded and set. And that gives us plenty of time to fix that room.
Yeah.
So, because that room is going to have to be taken back down to the walls, repainted, all of that, because all those cabinets and things are in there from old hospital, home health, HR, whomever was in that office, or if it was just a supply room. We don't really know.
Right.
So that's the update on that. And Judith gets to look through all those people first. I just come in for the vibe check, as we call it. Okay. Anyway,
It's exciting.
it's exciting. Again, it's an investment in the district's infrastructure so that we function as clean and efficient as we can. So that as the district grows its services, we have the infrastructure in place to grow along with that instead of playing catch up, which we've been doing for the last 4 to 6 years. So.
Amazing, yeah, and then they're gonna have a conversation with Susan, the finalist, just so you guys know, they'll have a conversation with Susan. So that Susan can make sure that they are, very well versed on the financial pieces.
Yeah. Good.
All right, so with that, I'll jump into the reports if you're good.
Mhm.
Okay, so regarding report 1, which is the balance sheet comparison of November to October.
Yeah.
November, we were sitting at 13,486,000. October, we were sitting at 1293 or 931, sorry. That was an increase of 554,000. That's to be expected. We really start seeing our property tax income roll in. You'll see we were also under budget, so that again helps to show that we're not spending more than was anticipated. So that was report number 1, which is the balance sheet comparison. I won't linger on that unless there's any questions on that. Okay. Report number 2, profit and loss year to date. For the month of November, our net income was positive 560,545. Again, this corresponds with balance sheet comparison because obviously we're seeing a fairly large increase in income that comes in during that first month. I know Howard, you had sent a note on report 2. Why was
Yeah.
total youth fitness bolded?
Right.
I have a feeling that that is just an artifact.
Okay. Cause
So
all the rest
Mhm.
was,
no, it should only be those main headings. Total youth fitness, I think, because of the fact of the way it's different from how the grants are put in there, that was bolded. So I just need to make sure that that is corrected, but
Okay.
there's nothing to be highlighted as far as that's concerned.
thank you.
Okay. Any questions on report number 2?
Mhm.
Nope. Okay. Again, pretty straightforward on why there was, a lot of money.
Right.
Report number 3 for both admin and wellness center. We're seeing that the district was under the planned budget for the year. Admin was under the net income budgeted $463,000. Howard, I know you had a question on that.
Yeah.
That again goes back to that health services and clinics line item.
Yep.
Recall that we had anticipated we'd have a clinical partner on board. So because we haven't had that partnership, we're not paying out that expense. So there's a huge, wow, look at us, we're under budget. We just don't
I
have
got the ambulance.
we still haven't paid that out, correct. Usually that comes at the end of the year. I usually split those payments first and second. We haven't seen that. I'm sure we'll see it before the end of the fiscal year. Wellness Center was under their planned budget for a more modest amount of $15,000, which is also pretty good. You'll see that her under budget expenses is really split across a lot of different areas. The bulk of it, again, still being health services and clinics. A lot of that has been Teresa is still working with a lot of programs that have been free or that we haven't had to pay larger contracted facilitators for. So that's, otherwise the expenses are fairly in line with what we budgeted for the year.
Right.
Any question on report 3 year to date? Okay. We're trying to obviously be very cognizant of budget, but still look for opportunities. One of the things that made this year's budget a little different was the fact that we still have these big unknowns, right? Of what is it going to cost us to bring in programming? What is it going to cost us to help underwrite clinical care? So we front loaded those expenses so that we had that flexibility. And Teresa's still doing a great job of finding those partners that have low cost or that we can get for free that were county funded We know that that won't continue in perpetuity.
Yeah.
We're already seeing some of those favored vendors not get county funding, meaning that we'd have to figure it out ourselves. Mental health first aid was the first of that to show up. And Teresa's making that look. So want to make sure you know what we're looking at. All right. We have our compliance report. Yeah, there it is, which is put together again by Susan to look at our investments. If you're following the overall world of finance, November was still fairly stable as far as representation. So between LAIF that came in with an effective yield of 4.096. Again, they hold the smallest amount of our investment funds. Cal Trust, we have two separate basically funds within that. We have their Cal Trust Medium, which is a longer term, and then the liquidity fund, which is taking advantage of this short-term yield gain that you've been seeing. So the medium fund has been sitting at 4.2. As far as the yield, the liquidity was 4.45, which makes sense. It's the shortest terms. It was the one we got into or opened last, which is why it's still seeing the largest gain overall. California Class is again sitting at about a 4.03. You'll find most of these are fairly consistent. We'll see some shifting across these as we see what happens with Fed rates, as we see a lot of different changes. We won't see massive swings because government very conservative style of accounts. So there's really not a lot to talk about in the investments. We will probably want to bring forward a conversation, and I know I've alluded to this previously. We have been pulling the distributions from our improvements out of the LAIF account to the point where the LAIF account now has a very small balance. So in the future, when we get to the next time that we need to pull from that to replenish the operating account, we may make the recommendation to a different account instead of LAIF. We may decide that it's best to go from the medium term. We may say, okay, liquidity is no longer paying out the best. Let's try and move from that. So we'll make that conversation happen along the finance team prior to coming to this committee so that you can know that we've looked at, and obviously we'll lean heavily on Susan because she does look at these compliance reports and see where it makes the most sense. Again, we want the account to be balanced among our investments as well. So again, that's a little long worded, but well, I'm the one talking, so that's standard. And we have some time, but it's better that we're talking about it now than suddenly have to send you something midstream because we can't pull from an account, or
Right.
we would take the most money out of the smallest account that's gaining the largest yield, something of that sort.
Was the conversation about rebalancing those accounts gonna happen at a separate time?
I think we'll talk that at a separate time.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it during January. We still weren't sure last month what was going to happen Fed levels and
Okay, because of the CDIAC or whatever it's called, conference that's happening this month that I'm attending, then I was gonna run it by a couple of the investment analysts there.
great
And
idea.
bring this compliance report with dollar amounts that we have currently and see if they can provide us some guidance, which is one of the advantages of going to that.
Yeah,
They can help us sometimes without having to bring them on board, so.
perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, this is, Judith has been putting a lot of energy into getting education and certifications in a lot of the government finance pieces,
Right.
which is great because it fits in her brain.
On with communities. Candidate.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so unless there's any questions on that, I'll move to check detail. Check detail report, really nothing new or unusual in it. Nothing really to see there.
Everything's accounted for.
Everything's accounted for. the month of December is, which obviously we're in November, but the month of December is the last time at this point that you'll see checks going out to the Department of Education. That was that student loan reimbursement opportunity that came through the IRS. There was some conversation about whether that would be extended. At this point, we don't have any additional info on that. So you can anticipate that December's payments were going to be the last. Okay. If it looks like there's different options for that, we'll come back to this committee. Okay. Other than that, checks were pretty much your standard. You'll see that we are, and since you guys are generally the check signers, we still have quite a few that come through via ACH, that automatic. We will probably look to do more of those for our very standard, very regular operating costs. That streamlines a lot of the chasing down the paperwork, getting it printed, try to get it signed before it's due. A lot of those timelines, there's no reason not to ACH it. It's still transparent, you still see it, but we want to try and make that a little bit faster and more efficient.
What is ACH?
It's basically automatic. Go. I forget what it stands for.
Clearinghouse sounds good.
Clearinghouse, yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically where the vendor, we either set it up so that the vendor pulls the amount or we're paying it basically online bill pay. That's probably a
Yeah. it's
layman's
just
version.
Online bill pay.
Well, I like that. My hand likes it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, obviously, there's always going to be checks that have to be signed because they're different, but I mean, we have, for example, Fowler Pest Control or Spectrum. I mean, it's obvious what those do and they're basic district services, so not to be surprised. Okay. All right. I'll move to report number 6, the credit card statements. Again, we had no action through Umpqua, so you will only see the one statement through 5-Star. Umpqua, again, is really that legacy card that we had. We only have a few. I don't even know if we have any more software that rolls through it.
We have one. I just don't remember which one.
Yeah, so every now and again, you may see that statement. That one's also in here should 5 board members decide they want to go to a conference. Sometimes it's easier to have that backup card in case we, max out all of a sudden because all the hotels or something. So moving to the credit card statements, everything is pretty normal. I know Howard had one question because Teresa went rogue and spent some weird things. I'm totally kidding. Kidding. I'm pointing it out because
The weirdest need.
Right?
You've got the assassins.
Yes.
right.
The mentors and then the mystic.
What was that one? Black House, White Market?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was-
So Brand Assassins is the group that we had the truck wrap done through. So Brand Assassins, I know you've seen more than once. They do a lot of our promotional marketing kind of things. But this year, the team organized the staff sort of holiday retreat, and we did an escape room. And the luxury limo was a limo bus. I'm going to air quote that. It was a nice little vehicle so that we could all ride together in one vehicle instead of trying to caravan in everyone's
So
cars.
tell me about escape room.
Yeah, was it fun?
Oh,
it was
super fun.
No.
None of us escaped.
No.
No, we split. We split into 2 groups, and they were challenging.
Yeah.
They
They
were.
were very, very challenging.
Very challenging.
So you literally do try to escape.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's monitored.
It's like little
They're puzzles,
puzzles and.
things you have to
clues.
solve, and
Oh.
you have to do it as a group. Which is great because you put a whole bunch of type A smart people in a room and everybody's like, no, I think it means this. I think it means that. I don't know. And you just start touching things and moving stuff. And
Mhm.
if you throw something that's not supposed to be thrown, they will come on and be like, don't throw the block.
Teresa and Rachel, please stop throwing things at the wall.
We tried everything. We tried everything.
Made sense,
What was the
but.
theme?
There were two different rooms and ours was based on kind of a carnival. And the other room.
It was a scary room.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
it-
scary
It
room.
was scary, yeah, where they actually had opportunities to scare, and they asked us if we wanted them, and we're like, yeah, why not? Scared us quite well. You should have seen all four of us huddle. We all huddled in a little bit, just kind of holding each other. Mrs. Davenant, it was pretty funny. We had a really great time.
We did not take the scary room because we had a staff member who that makes her very anxious. And so we were like, oh, she's on our team. Which we actually did a blind, short straw, long straw situation so that it was random on who went on what teams. But it worked out well and it was a lot of fun and it was good team building.
Yes,
So-
it was.
But that's what those weird charges are on Teresa's card.
I always say, what if somebody of the public?
Right. Right? Because I mean, somebody's gonna be like, let's see, they're assassinating people escaping in a limo.
Exactly. That's how
The
that's
mystic limo.
that's how it could be perceived.
Right.
When I saw it, I was like, that does not look great.
Right.
It does not.
So Teresa had come to me a little early. She's like, I do need to let you know, it's gonna say this on the thing. Okay, duly noted. So, any questions on the credit cards other than
Nope.
assassin escape rooms with limos? Okay. All right, report number 7 is the community development disbursements. We are looking at Q1 and Q2 for the fiscal year 25-26. You'll see what those expenditures are, pretty standard, basic, nothing really in, oh, no problem. We only had one expense in the month of November, and that was from Active Power Solutions relocating some underground conduit, which really had more to do with the ramps and the new ADA sidewalks that we put in. So not a big expense, which is always nice.
Yeah.
You probably won't see any really big, oh, no, we haven't paid LC paving yet because they still have to finish that one section
Mhm.
where there was the break in the concrete.
They finished that.
Okay,
It's the the curb thing.
Oh,
that they're
moving-
Supposed to remove.
okay.
I was
yeah.
gonna email them. since the
Yeah,
first time
if you can
yet,
remind them.
Yeah.
But otherwise that project is essentially complete. So that'll be nice. We will schedule a ribbon cutting for those, in part because we received some grant funds from FPUD's Community Benefit Program. So we want to be able to, plus we like having ribbon cuttings, be able to do that ribbon cutting, invite the Community Benefit Program folks, cut that ribbon. It helps to let the community know that there's more access at the
Yeah.
property as well.
I-
So, but they did a very nice job. Everything worked out well. There was one or two small things that the vendor is working on right now. We haven't had to really
Can't wait
chase
to
them.
see it. I mean, I've seen the pictures that.
Yeah.
shared,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
very
To
exciting.
drive in, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's really nice because now we have truly ADA appropriate parking spaces in front of building A that allow people onto that sidewalk that can now take the sidewalk and the ramp to building B. You don't have to cross the parking lot anymore. So whether you have a stroller, a walker, you're in a wheelchair, whatever mobility support you may need, that access is there. Same thing for the main parking lot down to the lower field. So now if an event is happening at the lower field, we don't have to be concerned that someone doesn't have access. So it is truly open to all. Yeah. So we're excited to know that that has happened. Again, regarding disclosures, the investment of the district are in compliance with our 25-26 investment policy. The balances in the district's investment accounts give the district the ability to meet the expenditure requirements for the next 12 months and some. But it does allow us to meet any of our obligations that we have outstanding for other construction things as well. And that is it on the reports.
Good job, everybody. I'm proud of our team.
We definitely are paying close attention to it. There's always new things coming. You'll always see new expenses happen. But the nice part is that it runs through committees between finance, facilities, and eventually board. Being able to earlier this year move to the UPCA contract, which allows us to not have to go to formal bid processes for all of these smaller projects, really is going to start streamlining so much. And then finding this new vendor that is DIR, Department of Industrial Relations, prevailing wage, being able to have them under contract for smaller maintenance as well as smaller construction projects like the room renovation really will expedite so much of what has held us back in the past.
So that hasn't gone into effect yet?
So we haven't signed the contract with him. We just got that contract.
No, because I remember back in the summer is when we
Yes.
voted on
Yeah, so
that.
we voted on that, and then what we've been doing since then is Alex has been providing us service contract templates. So as those templates came in, we weren't having to reinvent every contract every time.
Okay.
So Teresa's able to take that template for a lot of the facilitators. We can take that template for different vendors who are gonna come in under that construction heading.
Okay.
So a lot of that just takes time, and then probably the longest time was finding this
Mhm.
vendor.
Mhm.
So we had found one, they flaked, Teresa found two others. One was a better fit than the other, so we've been able to move in that direction, but then holidays and everything kind of just slowed down getting that contract. So,
Got two more questions.
yes, sir.
These are really nice chairs. How come you guys don't get this at these two?
Because you're the board and those chairs replaced the old ones, which were pretty broken down.
Yeah.
The nice thing is those chairs were very economical. The only problem is of the 11 we ordered, there were, because we replaced the ones in the small conference room upstairs, 9 of them had all the pieces. Jess up front put them all together for us. She became quite the machine. But we found that 2 were missing key parts. So we sent them back. We got 2 new ones. They were missing the same parts. We sent them back. We got new ones. They're missing the same parts.
We sent it get apart.
No. Because I've ordered them through Amazon. So I'm gonna send those back and I'm gonna order 2 different ones completely from a different vendor that looks similar.
Mhm.
But these chairs are, I mean, very inexpensive, but they're
Right.
much more comfortable. They roll better. We have a small storage area for all the chairs and such. So those chairs took up so much room. These take up less. But to have these chairs for all of us would make storage in that room very difficult. Plus, I just don't like the staff enough. Just kidding.
No,
Kidding.
we have our own chairs.
She said she loves you.
Now I know what you said.
Second question is that I looked at Alex's billings from July through November. It's very inexpensive.
For what he gets at.
He's very efficient in the
Yeah.
time that he provides for us. Now, part of that is the fact that this team has been able to do a lot of the legwork. We haven't just given him like, hey, I need this project handled. We were not in a position prior to expect that we could get legal counsel to do that. That said, actually Judith and I just finished meeting. There are a couple of projects that we will hand to his firm that will probably require a lot more, where we're gonna say, we want a whole new project X. We're not going to do any of the legwork because this is really outside of our scope. We really need you to handle it. What's nice is that he's got a firm behind him that can do that. So you'll see some other bills. But for example, the whole CalPERS thing, Judith spent months and months of true directed time on it, let alone the year plus before that, trying to track down the leads. Because again, previous legal didn't really support us in that. She got us to a point that was pretty much almost solved. So that once Alex came on board, he could provide some oversight, but didn't have to step in and run it.
Gotcha.
There are other projects that we're going to hand him and say, we need your firm to run this.
Mhm.
So that Judith can do the other parts of the job as well.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
That is a fair assessment, right, of where we were just talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it sure is nice.
It's very nice.
It's really, it takes a lot of the concern about some of our assumptions on things that maybe we needed a stronger legal opinion on that we weren't really getting from before.
Is he retired, Jeff? Has Jeff retired?
Not that I'm aware of.
So he still has
He has the desert
desert,
and he has Tri-City.
but Grossmont.
Grossmont moved on to the same firm as Alex.
Good.
So, yes, in fact, Alex sent Raquel and I some information today about something that we're supposed to have on the website. And we were unaware of this particular thing. So he said, well, I'll send you the template I sent to Grossmont. And we both were like, oh, hell no.
Oh, no, you.
No, we're like little PTSD, like, oh, great, here's the Jeffism again. We're gonna get used templates. And so we were joking with Alex and he said, actually, they're my templates that I gave to Grossmont and to you. They're not,
Yes.
they weren't
clarified.
Grossmont's that just got,
He-
I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
It was
he was
great.
being cute and clever with us.
he was.
And I said, all right, well, next time you just need to tell Grossmont that you're sending them Fallbrook's template.
Right, right.
They got a new CEO, right?
They do. James Sly, I met him mid-December at a social event. He has a long history of working in the East County with the economic development group that's there. And so he already had a good understanding of the district. To what extent he knows many of the board members, but to what extent he knows their operations, I don't know yet. I was gonna give him more than a minute to get settled before we start really trying to make sure that we have that strong shared relationship. But I think it'll be nice. I think it'll be a good partnership. Obviously, as we look forward to other clinical partners that they're working with, it's nice that, you know, we're talking district to district so that we can say, okay, well, how's your experience with this?
And Christian was all settled in.
Christian is settled up
Bishop,
in
Bishop?
Bishop, yeah, Northern Inyo, I think it's actually titled.
Yeah.
But he's doing great up there. He's actually just been approved to be reappointed to the ACHD board, so I get to
Oh,
work with him
good.
again on that,
Yeah.
which is nice, because he comes in with a lot of great advocacy experience to support the ACHD board
Yeah.
from that avenue as well.
Good.
Yeah. So everybody is good.
Yeah.
Everybody is stable. Not fun.
Except for Palom.
Right, except for Palomar, which is gonna be an interesting thing to see how that shakes out with UCSD,
Yeah.
but we'll see it in papers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thank you for,
Sending out that.
funneling that to us, because it's really.
I think it's important anytime district, especially San Diego district stuff is in the news, that you guys are seeing it. I know sometimes Jennifer, because she's a news hawk, she sees it, she'll send it to me. Howard has sent me things. I'll try and pass it. I know sometimes Judith has found things in the finance pages. So as we cobble that together, that way there's a lot of shared information. Yeah, good. I'm glad it's helpful.
Yeah.
All right. Unless there's anything else, we are adjourned. Thanks.
Thank you.